Welcome to the Enjoy More 30s Family Finance Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to making life more enjoyable for young families by hitting on the financial topics that tend to weigh on us, stress us out, and distract our focus from simply enjoying life.
Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Your Major Money Misnomer series. As always, if you like what you're hearing, please make sure to subscribe or follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Clicking that star, leaving a review really helps us reach other young families out there. So last week we discussed tax refunds are bad. What? To help you better understand what a tax refund actually means, aka loaning money to the government on an 0% interest loan, and what you can do to change that amount you may be receiving by lowering your withholdings, saving the difference, or even contributing more into your tax-free growing Roth retirement accounts instead. So check that out if you haven't already. Today we are discussing goals. Schedule goals, achieve goals, where we are going to discuss why goal setting is so important, even if it initially can seem so daunting, maybe just downright annoying. We're going to cover what you need to know about what makes goal setting so powerful and what you can do to more easily work it into your life. In grammar school, for me, we had this physical fitness test. I think that's what it was called. And there were two basic levels of achievement. You either, didn't get any achievement at all, you got the higher level achievement, or you kind of got the lower level one. So there are three different boxes you could kind of fall in. And to get that top one, you needed to excel in every single exercise test that they laid out. There was sit and reach, shuttle run, push-ups, I think, as well. Outside of push-ups, probably a lot of really antiquated exercises that nobody would ever tell you to do anymore in the gym. But, being the competitive person I was / still am, I wanted the top level. Now, all of those I didn't have any problem with that I listed so far. I mean, sitting and reaching, touching your toes, doing a couple push-ups, that was okay. The one thing that drove me crazy, though, was the pull-ups. I just could not do enough to qualify, and it always landed me in that lower level of certification. One year, I decided that I wanted to actually train ahead of time in preparation, and I was able to drastically increase what I was able to do. Now, you'd think this story would be about perseverance and hard work and glory, and the ending to the story is that I now received the higher award, but I didn't. I went from maybe 3 pull-ups to 6 pull-ups, but I needed like 7 or 8. So I still didn't wind up getting what I wanted. I was in the same kind of lower certification category. And for my eyes, for how I looked at things at that time at least, I had failed. And, you feel pretty crappy about that. So what you need to know is that if you ever felt this way before when it comes to goal setting, you may have an incorrect viewpoint on goals like I did for pretty much most of my life, judging the success solely based on that outcome. When I first started at New Horizons, one of the earliest things that the founder Bob did was to review my goals annually. Now, I don't think I really ever consciously made another goal probably between that presidential fitness test time and starting this first job. I mean, there were things that I wanted to do for sure, like go to a good college or make the varsity soccer team in high school. But most of the time, I never really organized them in my head as an actual goal. Just kind of, like stuff you want to do. There wasn't a formal plan or anything like that to try to get me there. And when Bob wanted to go over goals with me, it wasn't just business goals. He wanted my personal goals as well. And I found this really exceedingly difficult. What do you put down for goals when your boss is asking you? Should you make the goals really high to reach towards them? What if I make it really big and then I don't hit any of them and I look like a big loser in front of my boss? Should I put it low so that I could hit it? But, what if he sees that I'm really just setting super easy goals? What does that say about me? So it really took literally years for me to get to a point to not only stop being paranoid and anxious around goals, but to really embrace them and love them. And the switch for me was when I found out that goals aren't really to make you feel bad about yourself. There isn't necessarily a winning and losing to it. Goals are to help you be farther along than what you otherwise would be. So in my fitness test example, I doubled my pull-ups. I was way further along than I otherwise would have been. So what you can do is take these lessons to your financial situation. Make a goal for monthly savings. Make a goal for updating your legal documents. Make a goal for a budget. And if you don't hit it exactly, don't beat yourself up about it, as you're likely further along than you otherwise would have been. So if you're saving, let's say, $100 a month now, and you think, hey, my goal is I'd love to be able to save $500 a month, that would just be fantastic, then go for it. If you only wind up saving $300 a month, you're still 200% better than your starting point. At 7% growth, that extra $200 a month would be around $35,000 after 10 years that you otherwise would not have had. So that's nothing to scoff at all. If you have no, let's say, legal documents set up, and you give yourself 30 days, but it takes 45 days, hey, that's still great. That's probably quicker than the 180 days it would have taken without any kind of a plan or a goal. The other great part of this is that when that time passes, it gives you a little reminder. If you just say to yourself, I should really get my legal documents done, you can go years without revisiting it. Like, who wants to think about doing their legal documents? If you change that statement to, my goal is to get my legal documents done in 30 days, then when 30 days pass, if it isn't done, you could say, wow, well, I didn't hit that, but let me get myself another 30 days and try again. But you have that reminder because you set a time frame for it. So the recap for today is to remember that goals are to help you make improvements more quickly. So don't think of them as failures. Think of them as, oh, I didn't do that. Let's try again. Let's reset that clock. And we're still on a path probably to get it done quicker than we otherwise would have. All of this is about moving in the right direction, taking steps in that right direction. So remember, any step you take is a good thing. The most goal-oriented, ambitious people in the world do not hit 100% of their goals every single year. I've heard stats like anywhere from maybe 50%, 60%, like that was their best year. So, nobody is setting all of these goals and hitting on all of them. So don't let that stop you from not even setting one. Thanks as always for tuning in today. If you are able to implement what we're covering, that's fantastic. You're better off than you were before. You have less to worry about, and you can just focus more on what we're all here to do, enjoying life. If you are wanting help with these things though, or have questions you need help in clarifying, check out the Ask Joe section on the show's website, www.enjoymore30s.com. That's enjoymore30s.com. If you enjoyed this episode specifically, please make sure to subscribe, review us on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. There are literally millions of young families out there I'm trying to reach and help just like you. The next episode is Your Home Isn't an Investment, maybe surprising, where we're going to break down what needs to be true for something to really to be considered an investment, and how people can sometimes make negative financial choices as a result of the traditional your home is an investment mindset. Until next week, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you guys again soon.
The conversations on this show are Joe's opinions and provided for general information purposes only. They do not constitute accounting, legal, tax, or other professional advice for your specific situation. You should always seek appropriate advice from a financial advisor, accountant, lawyer, or other professional before acting upon any content or information found here first. Joe is affiliated with New Horizons Wealth Management, LLC, a branch office of TFS Securities, Inc., and TFS Advisory Services, an SEC-registered investment advisor, member FINRA/SIPC.